Hello everybody and welcome back to another video, and in today's video we are going to be ranking every BO3 map from worst to best. Now let me explain how this is going to work. One part of this video is going to be ranking the main BO3 maps, and the other part of this video is going to be ranking the Chronicle maps. Now I said I would do that, but actually I'm just going to save Chronicles for a separate video, but without further ado, here we go. Now, number 6 is going to have to go to the Giants. Now, you might be wondering why. And also, yes, I am counting the Giant as part of this video now. The reason is because, to be honest, if you were to ask me to play the Giant, BO1 Darius, or World at War Darius, I always pick World at War Darius before the Giant. And BO1 Darius and the Giant's kind of a coin toss, but the point being, the Giant was pretty cool. And it was also very helpful for the people that found Shadows of Evil very difficult. You could just hop right on the Giants because it was just Darius, very simple to new zombie players in Black Ops 3's launch. Because Shadows of Evil was a bit of a complicated mess at first, and a lot of people didn't even like it. But I think the Giant was very helpful at the time. But to be honest, there's maps like Darius Declassified on Customs. You have World at War Darius and Black Ops 1 Darius, and honestly, I don't find myself really coming back to the Giant that much. But, there's not much to even say about this map. It's literally just Darius on the BO3 system with the Primus characters. I did think the starting cutscene was pretty cool with Primus Richtofen just stoically shooting Ultimus Richtofen in the head. That was pretty cool. And by the way, we are ranking these. I think I put it in text in the beginning, but we are ranking these based off gameplay, story. Those are the main things, because like story or gameplay goes with Easter eggs and stuff. Yeah, so that's my personal opinion on the Giant. I'm trying to think. Yeah, to be honest, like, when I play BO3, I never hop on the Giant. I usually hop on a different map, which we're gonna get into those other maps. And yeah, this opinion might be a little bland because, it's literally just the Giant. I don't know how to explain myself too much here, but yeah, that is the Giant's ranking. So let's move on to the next one. Number 5, I gotta give to Zetsubo no Shima. Now, I want to be completely honest. When this map came out, it would have been number 6 because it was so buggy, it was so glitchy. But over time, this map has grown on me. I would actually place this map at like a B tier, but I want to point out that we have all these other maps in Black Ops 3 ahead of us. So it's gonna have to go in number 5. But I really do love this map. I think the KT4 is a bit underrated. I loved that mini spider boss. I thought building the KT4 can be enjoyable, but let's go over the positives before the negatives. Positives. When you get set up, it is great. It is fun and enjoyable. The atmosphere is amazing. One of the negatives is the setup is going to take a long time. Yeah, because here is a list of things you have to get set up. You have to build the KT4, the Masamune, a Skull of Non-Stop-Way, the Pack-a-Punch, of course the Power, Shield, and Gas Mask. And that can take up to round 20 sometimes. But in my opinion, it is worth it. But it's not a map that I would play like every day of my life, because it can be pretty tedious at moments. And the Easter egg, to be honest, was not the greatest. And I wasn't the biggest fan of the boss fight in the Easter egg. But otherwise, this map was pretty solid. Let's think. The Skull of Non-Stop-Way, one of my favorite specialists in Call of Duty Zombies history. The artillery step, pretty hard. It was pretty fun to do, but it was also a little infuriating the first time I tried it. Then you have to grow back the artillery shell. Now, I know a lot of people hate Zetsubo because it's so tedious, and honestly, I get it. But when you get set up, dude, It is so enjoyable. It is very fun. I absolutely love Zetsubo. But But of course, I think there is way better maps in Black Ops 3 that are coming up on the list, of course. And yeah, I think Zetsubo was pretty solid. Of course, when it came out, very buggy. But, I mean, something I wasn't the biggest fan of was how you turn on power. Because if you remember, you get 2 buckets of element 115 water, and you're on a time limit because there's 2 generators across from each other, Lab A, Lab B, and you have to pour in some water from a bucket you collected. And you have to do it very quickly, and then open the bunker, and then do a lockdown, and you could finally turn on the power. So even turning on the power in this map can take a while if you're not careful. And something I was a little annoyed by is the challenges. I mean, some challenges are fun and enjoyable and creative. Some of them are absolute hell, to be completely honest with you. And some of them are just not great, like, challenge-wise. You know, they're just very bland tasks. But I thought the Masamune in KT4 was pretty underrated because I just loved it. And that mini spider boss, it was genuinely pretty fun. But the actual boss fight for the Easter egg, I wasn't the biggest fan of. But that cutscene, dude, I think that cutscene genuinely changed opinions on Tokyo. Because the OG opinion on Tokyo was a lot of people just thought he was boring, and especially Ultima's Tokyo. But when that cutscene came out for the Zetsubo Easter egg, dude, it was like opinions changed because it was so emotional. And that cutscene, very good cutscene. I mean, yeah, I love it, bro. But yeah, as I would place Zetsubo in a B tier on like a ranking, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, like pretty high B, you know, middle B, high B. It's a very fun map sometimes. Again, it's just setup is a little tedious, but otherwise, also I love the intro cutscene for this map, dude. I loved it. Now, Revelations is gonna have to go in my number 4 spot. And the reason for this is I think Revelations is a very fun map, but let's go over some of the negatives. To be quite honest with you, the Easter egg was not the best. The boss fight with the Shadow Man was just kind of a reuse of the Shadows of Evil, if I'm correct. It's been a while since I've done it. The Easter egg took 2 weeks to solve, which honestly, I never minded, but what I did kind of mind is one of the steps, shooting stuff in the air, really? And shooting rocks and stuff. I didn't like that part, but, you know, we can deal with that. It also, you know, this is kind of a negative and a positive sometimes. At times it's negative, and at times it's positive. It's pretty easy, man, and of course you could see probably how that'd be a positive and negative. Positive, when you just want to hop on zombies and chill, great map, right? If you want to play the BO3 system. But if you want a challenging experience and you're getting on this map, I don't know what you're doing, because you're really not going to get it. Yeah, that could be seen as a negative and positive, but as some good positives, I did like the story of Revelations. I thought it was solid. Well, I could see how it might not be as good to people who were more of a fan of Nazi Experiment storyline. And I think all of BO3 and BO4 storyline kind of took a turn for those people. But I personally kind of liked it. I think Dr. Monty's a little bitch, though, to be honest with you. Something else I liked about this map was the Pack-a-Punch being in the Apothecon was a pretty cool switch up, and you go inside the Apothecon. That was pretty cool. And once again, this can be seen as a negative or positive in some sense. Look, each part of this map, I'm gonna start it out sounding negative and then end it off sounding a bit more positive, but I'll explain how it's a negative and positive. The only 2 original maps on this map is the starting room and the Apothecon room, where you're inside the Apothecon for Pack-a-Punch. And it's because the rest of this map is just like little bits and pieces from old maps like Shangri-La, the Reisendruck, Nachtrutoten, and but it also is pretty nostalgic. It's also pretty cool to have. But again, negative and positive. When this first came out, it was amazing. and it's still pretty cool that you can go back and see like a revelationized version, I guess. I don't know what the word would be, of those old maps, and some of them are combined. Like that Verrucht area has Zetsubo parts and Numa parts, but again, negative because there's only 2 original maps. But then again, I want to point this out. That is not only their fault. That's part of the community's fault, to my knowledge, because I remember people really wanting something like that, and that's what we got. And of course, it's not only their fault or our fault. I mean, it's also theirs a little, but you know what I mean. Yeah. That's something. Again, a lot of this map could be seen as a positive and negative in a lot of things. But overall, this map is not too bad. I'd place it in probably a B tier. But yeah, now we're about to hit the top 3, I'm pretty sure. Here we go into number 3. So number 3 is Shadows of Evil. Now, the reason I put Shadows of Evil here is because, to be honest, on launch, I was not the biggest fan. Now, I want to preface something. I didn't play exactly when it came out. I came into Zombies around the time when Rev was coming out. And I loved that time, me personally. But of course, I hopped in at a solid time. But so I wasn't there for Shadows on launch, but when I first started playing, I was not the biggest fan. I was looking for more simpler maps, and to be completely honest, Black Ops 3 was not the game for it. Maybe I just had a bias towards the rest of the maps, but not Shadows. But now, years have passed, and my opinions have changed. Shadows is a great map, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, I was not the biggest fan of this crew. Jessica Rose to me was okay. The Magician, I'm sorry, I don't know a lot of their names, but the Magician, but the other 2 were solid. But I know the Magician's important, though. That ending cutscene was pretty good. It's a little short, but it was solid. Richtofen comes at the portal, snatches the summoning key. That was solid. I liked that. But besides that, let's get to the rest. So the Apothecon Servant being the wonder weapon was cool, and we might all remember that glitch. Now, of course, I don't think I was there to actually use it, but I remember people talking about that glitch where you could actually pap the Apothecon Servant on Shadows. But of course, they patched that, so you just have the Apothecon Servant you can build. I loved the Marguas, Gobblegum being introduced, but also, I did like, Pack-a-Punch room, that whole area, and like that mini boss fight to get it, where you're like killing all those zombies and running around and the chanting or whatever. I thought that was really cool. Yeah, so, and it's on the Black Ops 3 system, which I think makes this map a bit better. So yeah, that's my number 3. Honestly, if you were to ask me which one I would just play more, I would probably go with Rev. Because I put Rev, but you might be wondering, then why put Rev number 4 instead of number 3 if you like Rev more? It's just because, based off my genuine opinions, I would, Shadows is better to me, but most of the time I just play Rev, if that makes sense. And now I still play Shadows a lot, but if that makes any bit of sense, there you go. Anyway, number 2. Number 2 is going to have to go to the Rod Crovey. Now, let me explain why. It's a very good time because this is when Z-House 1 was starting, if I'm correct. Now, I came in a little later to Z-House 1, but, yeah, so there's that, but we're excluding that, of course. Reagan Mark 3s, to be honest, they're iconic. They're pretty fun to use, but the only problem is, you can't use them forever, but of course we have double Pack-a-Punch on Black Ops 3, so you're probably good. It's just going to be a bit slower. And it's not like the Mark 3s are completely useless. They can still be used past round 70 papped. It's just they're not as good. We all know Lex round 71, but I loved the cutscene for Nikolai at the end, and I want to point this out. I think genuinely Jimmy Zielinski was making Nikolai have all those wives. Like, it was canon, but Jason Blundell retconned it. And he retconned it by explaining in here that it was all his imagination. He only had one wife that was killed or whatever, I think. I love the setting in Stalingrad. I like that little sign that says Bolensky Square. It's pretty solid detail. The riding on the dragon for the first time was amazing. I love that they brought back the PPSH in this map. I just love it overall, and I don't know what to say at this point. And I thought the manglers were cool. Now, to be honest, they've been ruined a bit from the spams they had in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies, but otherwise, I loved this map. And this brings me to my number one, which you've probably already seen by process of elimination. So the Rise and Drac, where do I even start? This map, is amazing. First, let's start with the wonder weapons. We have the 4 elemental bows. My favorite's gotta be the storm bow. Number 2 is, honestly, I know it may not be the best in a lot of your opinions, but I like the wolf bow. Number 3 gotta be fire bow. Number 4 gotta be void bow. That doesn't mean void bow's bad, but to be honest, I think it's just a ton of doing stuff for... it's good, but for not too much. But the bows is very good, but that's not the main point of this. The story, in my opinion, is immaculate for DE, but also something else that I would like to preface is I love this Easter egg so much. I've done it at least 50 times before over Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. Maybe I don't think I've done it on PC, but I love the Easter egg. I love the boss fight for the Easter egg. I thought Pack-a-Punch was very simple, but it was pretty cool. I love high rounding on this map. It's just a great map overall. And also the Dempsey cutscene was pretty fucking badass. I loved it. But otherwise, I don't really know what much more to say about the map. It's a great map. I love this map. I love the traps in the map. I love the Ragnaroks were pretty cool. Zero gravity in the zero gravity room was pretty cool. The Panzer Soul that makes a return, and there is that duping glitch you can do with that trap near the spawn room. But I just love this map, and I let me know your opinions down below. But yeah, and Chronicles is coming very soon.